what's to say about this? I guess, like what you just said about that we're not doing it and that it's just happening, that feels true. And it also sometimes doesn't feel true. And I know that's just it feeling true and then not feeling true.
Yeah. Particularly doesn't feel true when the landlord's saying, okay, where's the rent? Or the day before the rent, and you're like, holy fuck, let's just look at the bank one more time.
It's been an interesting journey, or it looks interesting to my mind as a journey, because I have always been able to make it, or it has always happened. Like everything has always gotten met, and and there has for the last 7 years, there's been like this perpetual story of, oh my God, am I going to be able to? And there's still a story running of, what if something happens? Like, what if I have a medical emergency or any kind of emergency? How will I ever? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and that's the really crazy part. I'm not saying that it will always get met. I don't know what's going to happen. We just know what is. But that's the crazy part of it. It's just the same here. Living on the brink has happened for a very long time, and it always gets met. It always gets met. And it might not be the way in which the me or any thoughts or ideas would like it to be met, but it gets met. But I'm not saying that to everybody that life is gonna. I mean, ultimately, every body's gonna die. Every single body is gonna die at some point. So it might be through starvation. Highly unlikely in a Western country, but I don't know about America, but in Europe, it's. I've never seen a starving person on the street. I've seen homeless people on the street, but never starving.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same over here, I think. I would say.
Yeah.
So
we don't even in England, actually, we don't even have that much homelessness. I think it's even less than America. But I'm not saying that won't be the outcome. I mean, we don't know. We just know what's going on now. But that's the interesting dynamic when looking in the story. Whenever I question people about their financial situation, it's always worked out. It's always been met. Maybe not in the way that expectations were in play, but it always got. And then there's this added dimension of a me going, holy fuck, turn to the left, turn to the left, turn to the left, quick, get the money there, get the money there. And it was never the one doing it. And that's why life is so funny, because it's tragically sad in one way for that dynamic that thinks that it's steering the wheel. But in another way, everything's always safe. Nothing's ever vulnerable. It's all happening exactly the way it was going to happen, whether the mind's screaming, go left, go right, go right. It's always going to go it's always going to go with what appears.
Yeah.
But it's full on for that me dynamic that has seemingly in the story been trained by society for lots of years to play in this game of I am controlling. So it's that me gets very panicky and scary around this, particularly money. I mean, in seemingly in Western societies, we start at 2, 3. What are you going to be when you're older? Putting in school. How are you going to earn money? This whole push on survival. Well, not really survival, just earning money. What are you going to be? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So this all becomes about the future. But it's amazing in the way the having the lack of money, because it might be seen that in that it was never you controlling it, and it was never you that had to get the money. The money got gotten.
Yeah. So, maybe that's it's like my mind understands you. I know that's my mind understanding. And
I would say also, I mean, I don't normally use the word heart, but I mean, like, it's also, if it was just the mind, there wouldn't be very long tolerating what Lisa says, or what I say. There's on another level this is being heard. Otherwise, it wouldn't be tolerated for long.
Okay.
If it was just intellectual, there's a resonance that's way beyond the words.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a heart, I mean, heart's a bit of a funny word, but I mean, knowing, like, it's knowing beyond what we think we know.
There's been a lot of stopping in the middle of things recently, more and more, where I see what's happening, like I see, or something sees, or whatever,
Yeah.
that like I'll be going into a normal or a regular pattern of upset that's been existing forever, and then I'll see it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it stops, but I can see the thoughts coming up, and
Appearing.
how I'm glom onto them, or I don't glom onto them, or whatever, and it's been freeing.
Yeah. And I would suggest it's the opposite way around. What happens is, or what's happened is, ideas have been lost, and so therefore there's not such a strength in them. So they're being seen as just appearances, something appearing out of this big mystery. They appear, they bubble up and disappear, and there's no longer these other thoughts which are completely involved with it anymore. So it's becoming more freer. There's less identity there, there's less energy in it. So they're being seen as what they are, and what you said is exactly what they are, appearances. They're not you. They're appearances.
Okay.
They are
Yeah.
they're creations, just like the light, just like the sounds, just like the room, the walls. They're another appearance. They're not who you are. You are not found in those thoughts. It's quite amazing, isn't it? The
It's
lesson,
super amazing.
because what a shift from suddenly being a person. Some people aren't even aware they think a person that's got all this drama going on, and then suddenly seeing there is drama appearing,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like the trees, the wind, and it's not you. And as that seems to crumble, then it's seen that life was always free, and this is always peace. Even though,
Yeah.
and it's only the drama is only, or the drama is appearing in peace. It's not that the peace needs to be found in the drama.
Right. I know it, I feel like it's known. Like I feel like I get it, and
Yeah.
feel like it's gotten or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's heard beyond any understanding of how it's heard.
Right.
That's a simple answer.
I'm so glad I found you. Thank you.
Oh, thank
Or
you.
I'm so glad you came, or whatever.
Yeah, it appeared. Yeah.
Oh, I have a question or
Yeah.
something. Um, when I'm walking around and I hear people talking in a language that I do not speak at all, like not even close, that's
Yeah.
not, I was noticing this today when I was walking my dog, how I've heard this from you and from other people, and it's resonating right now. The sounds of the language it's blah blah.
Yeah.
Like it's not, there's no, and that it's all that. That's everything is.
Yeah.
All the speaking is just sounds. It's just
Yeah.
like it doesn't mean
anything.
Yeah.
Something isn't green or something isn't white. It's just sounds that seem being put onto things. What can become interesting in hearing people that don't speak the same language is this is a bit complicated to explain, but there can be a hearing, like you said, on a different level, and an understanding, even though you don't understand the sounds. Like an understanding of what's being said exactly, but it's not, you don't understand the sounds. Like as in such, you can't be like, oh, this sound means, or whatever. But there's a hearing or an understanding beyond the intellectual understanding, which is always very interesting. And sometimes I find I don't even speak French, I'm in France, and then suddenly everyone's telling a joke. I don't even know they're telling a joke, but then I'm laughing at exactly the right place. I'm like, oh. And they're like, you got the joke? I'm like, well, I seem to. Which is quite bizarre.
Do you ever hear, or is it ever heard, like, well, English as that, as
just
nothing,
sounds.
as just nothing, as yeah.
Often.
I
But
have wondered.
there can be, but what also can pop up is intellectual interpretation happening quite
Uh-huh.
quickly. But that's just another appearance happening. But often, yeah, because of course that's the way it is. It's all sounds; they mean nothing.
Yeah.
But the understanding of them will appear just like the sounds appear if need be.
Uh-huh. Oh. Huh. Huh. Okay. Right. Of course. That's
If need be. But a lot of the time, it's just not noticed because there's no me there. There's a lot of the time, and this is there's there's not an understanding really appearing with the sounds. Like even when you're speaking with other people, but it's not
there's,
noticed.
there's not an understanding of hearing with the sounds. Is that
Yeah,
what you just said?
yeah. Like the sounds are empty. So you're listening to someone, say your mother, talk, and the sounds are empty, but it's just not noticed that there's just not a thought saying, I don't understand what she's saying. It's not saying I understand what she's saying either. There's just the music appearing. It's
Oh
just
my
being heard,
God.
and it's absolutely
That's
empty.
that's mind blowing. The connection between the understanding and the sounds assumed.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that it's assumed. If you speak English, you understand, and that doesn't necessarily exist, or that doesn't have to be, or that
yeah,
it isn't, or but it
yeah.
isn't. It's just that's just another thought. That's just another belief. That's just another
Yes, exactly. That comes up and
just
says, I understand. But often you might notice this, is there'll be listening happening, but there's no voice or anything coming up saying, I understand this or I don't. So it's just staying as sounds. But
I
it's
have
not, there's
noticed
nobody,
that.
it's, it's happening so quickly that there's not much storytelling going on about it. What the me's always focusing on is what it's getting. What it's
Okay.
always focusing on positive. There's so
Oh my
much of the
God.
time, Laurie, when everything just dissolves, but it's just not being noticed.
Oh, wow. Such relief. Although that's what I'm right now, right? I'm feeling relief
Oh,
because
nice.
I'm hearing what I'm hearing, whatever is being heard. Like, okay.
Yeah, or what I would say, because I'm always a negative teacher or speaker. Teacher's a funny word, but a negative speaker is that things are dissolving, ideas are dissolving right now, and the
Oh,
natural way of everything is absolute freedom. So that relief is like a taste of the way it is. It's not even a taste because it is the way it is. It's just these ideas give the appearance of something else.
oh my God.
Sweet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you. And then everything becomes incredibly funny. But hey ho.
Yes. It's so ridiculous. Like, it's so ridiculous.
Even the idea of being poor or rich. The funniest thing is, from having been in contact with a lot of rich people, is the thing that really makes me laugh about the rich poor thing is that rich people still feel poor. They don't ever get over it. No matter how
That's,
much money they obtain, they still have that sense of feeling like they're going to lose it or they've not got enough. Or they've got
yeah.
to save it. They keep wanting to put it in the bank and save it,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
which is really funny. But
There's a belief arising. I'm noticing it, and I'm just noticing it, that, oh, that can't be true. I'm sure rich people just don't know, blah, 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 whatever, whatever, whatever. And I notice, and it's there, and it's there, and then it's gone.
yeah.
But yeah, yeah. It's just all one story after another. It's
Yeah.
just all one story after another. Even the story of the story, one story after another is a story. Even the story of the story just keeps
It's like those mirrors.
going.
Yeah. What type of dog do you have?
I have a black lab.
Oh, nice.
She's lovely.
Yeah, black labs are lovely. Do you like the Labrador?
Yeah, she's my teacher in a lot of ways, or a teacher.
For sure. She has no sense of the rich or poor, or being
Nope.
a good dog or bad dog.
Yes, her name is Lily.
Oh, bless.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you. Really nice to speak with you, Laurie. Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
Thank you.
I'm just going to turn you to silence now.
Okay.